The following video is rated PG for puzzling gameplay. Viewer discretion is advised.
V-Hard has already caused lots of chaos in this tournament, and S-Hard has started off trending in the same direction. How many more great players must be claimed by the randomness before the situation stabilizes? Today, we move one step closer towards finding out. Hello Puzzlers, this is your head TaymanND Regards to the Heart. Welcome back to League of Puzzle Speedrunners Pokemon Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament 2024. We've got two more great matches for you to narrow the field down to our final 6. I will have to take the stage again against a fierce opponent in time. We've had some very epic matches in the past, and we are ready to run it back again for another great one. But before that, we've got one more person to knock out of the tournament to get to the final 6, and it is Tayman versus TetrisAttakr. They've both had some very epic clashes in TetrisAttakr in the past, but this is going to be the first Pokemon Puzzle League meeting between them. So we'll see if any of their close play between each other in direct combat will lead to any close Pokemon Puzzle League action this time around. We will find that out very shortly. But first, if you're tuning into this game for the first time, you're not exactly sure how everything works, allow me to take a couple minutes of your time to explain how this game works and how we are playing it in this tournament. Pokemon Puzzle League is a Match 3 puzzle game released for the Nintendo 64 in September 2000 in North America and March 2001 in Europe. It has been re-released multiple times via the Wii Virtual Console in May 2008 and the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack in July 2022. It is a Match 3 puzzle game in that if you match at least 3 of the same panel either horizontally or vertically, the panels will disappear. To win, however, you need to do more than simply match 3 at a time. You need to make combos and chains to not only prevent your gradually rising stack from reaching the top of your playfield for a time, but also to send garbage blocks to your opponent to make their stack reach the top of their playfield. You make combos by matching more than 3 panels in a row at the same time. They don't keep your stack from rising for very long, but they do send small garbage blocks to your opponent that can prove to be very disruptive. You make chains by linking sets of 3 or more matches together. Make a set of panels disappear, and then have the panels immediately above them fall into another match. Not only does this keep your stack from rising for a longer period of time, but it will make thicker garbage blocks that will be more effective at actually filling out your opponent's stack to the top. If your stack reaches the top of your playfield and the game tries to break the stack through the top, you lose, so you want to avoid this at all costs and force it on your opponent as much as possible. To beat these computer opponents, you will have to either make sure that they run out of time while their stack is completely topped off, send so much garbage to your opponent so that they can no longer make a move, or send garbage to your opponent in such a way so that they think they can no longer make a move. Easy mode has 11 stages, normal has 14, hard has 15, and V-Hard and S-Hard have 16. In this tournament, players will be racing through those stages to get to the end as fast as they can. The first player to defeat the final opponent wins the race. The first player to win a predetermined number of races wins the match. Best of luck to all of our players. I swear, Puzzlers, as we get further and further along in this tournament, those kinds of attacks on that Mewtwo that you saw just then will become more and more important because we are introducing higher levels into this winner's bracket round. We're playing S-Hard in the winner's bracket later on in the show, but aside from that, the first match you'll see today will have the usual suite of easy through V-Hard levels to play throughout each race. So, the two players have agreed to one of those levels to play first for this game 1. And then they will counterpick one of the other levels in like a popcorn reading style until either we've played through all the levels or we have a winner. So it is possible, though it might become more like probable the way the randomness has been going at us lately. that we will have to double up on one of those levels in this matchup for Game 5. Won't be a problem in the winner's bracket, because we will inevitably see S-Hard to maybe close things out, just like yesterday's winners semis did. Who knows? Once we're done with all these proceedings, we will have a PPL 2024 champion crowned in our community Discord server, and they will get the majority, the lion's share. Not even a lion's share. A lion's share is a lot more than what the winner will get, but the winner will get a nice little chunk of our crowd-funded prize pool. Prize pool is at $111.11 out of our goal of $500, and you can add to it with direct tips, bits you spend on our Twitch channel, and subscriptions to our Twitch channel will add a little bit as well. But by the way, time's running out to take advantage of Twitch's annual September event, where if you actually spend bits and gift subscriptions to our Twitch channel, Twitch will actually add on top of the usual gifting. Like for every 5 gift subs you give to the channel, Twitch will add at least one more. I've seen some very crazy gift distributions that Twitch has been giving on channels since this started, so this is definitely a good time to take advantage of Twitch's generosity and make it more worthwhile for our players. If we make it to our stretch goal of $500, then the top 4 that is currently getting paid out from this bracket will be expanded to the top 8, and then if we reach a goal of $1,000, our ultimate goal, then we can afford to pay everybody. Everyone that plays wins. What a deal. So, if you'd like to support our players and make it more worthwhile for them, there is a direct link on screen. You can go to our tip page, and if you type !pool in the live Twitch chat, you can get a clickable link to that page as well. So here we are in our losers bracket, getting to the final 6. We have one more person left to slot into that final 6. The loser of the next match will have to play the winner of this match coming up right now. It is the 5 seed TaymanND and the 11 seed TetrisAttakr, and it is kind of amazing how much these two have clashed against each other in recent years, because this is the first time that we know of that they've played each other in competitive Pokemon Puzzle League speed play. They've certainly played a lot in TetrisAttakr, though. They play each other really close there, where it doesn't seem to matter what the format is. TetrisAttakr manages to take 2 games off of Tayman every single time. Literally every single time. It's a 3-0 match record in Tayman's favor, but the race record is 11-6. So, with TetrisAttakr capable of so many great things, like TA has placed in the top 4 of one of these tournaments before, but I believe that was the 2020 tournament. That was a top 4 finish, and Tayman, of course, won the 2020 tournament, so these players are definitely capable of getting to crazy heights. And just to get an idea of how close these players are in their times before we get started today, just looking at their average times throughout the handful of races they've been able to get done. In easy mode, the advantage is Tayman's 632 to 655. In normal mode, Tayman has the advantage 931 to 934. In hard mode, it's TetrisAttakr that has had the faster hard mode times, 1042 to 1132. And Tayman, aside from not being able to finish one V-hard run, has pulled off a 2131 V-hard in this tournament, whereas TetrisAttakr has done a 2138. So, these two are actually going to be really close to each other, I get the feeling, and I will not be surprised to see this match reach the distance of 5 games. Also, take a gander to the Twitch chat before we get things going. as I posed the question to Twitch who was going to win this match, and literally everyone so far has put their points into TetrisAttakr to win this match, which would be, I will go ahead and say it, that would be quite an upset, considering how good TaymanND is at Pokemon Puzzle League compared to everyone else. So we will see just a little bit how these two will play together. So let's get these players off and running on this losers round 3 matchup. 5 seed TaymanND, 11 seed TetrisAttakr. Easy, normal, hard, V hard. Will he have to play them all? Let's find out, starting right now. We have game audio from TaymanND, and we actually have game audio from TetrisAttakr for once. TA has notoriously had some sound issues on his video, but it looks like it's been solved. So we'll have an opportunity to listen to TetrisAttakr gameplay throughout the proceedings. And we will be starting on the easy level for game 1. Getting the slow stuff out of the way first, I see. I think TaymanND has the advantage on this level, just the sheer tactical advantage, if not the cursor speed advantage as well. But I don't know, TetrisAttakr has been able to rattle off some fast stages in tournament play before, so who knows? Who knows with these two? I will let these two know that they are ready to start, and we will get this game 1 underway. Alright, puzzlers, counters are timing down. And that is how that is going to go. Timers are counting down on racetime.gg, where we track all of these races. And game 1, easy level, is about to begin. So you will see at the start of this run 2 opponents that will not raise their stacks at the very beginning. So with the starting stack of 5 lines of panels, you're probably going to have to send 7 lines of garbage to top off these opponents. Both of our players getting away with 6 lines of garbage there very quickly. 14-15 seconds respectively is certainly a good start to this run that both of our players will appreciate. And just like Gary, Brock here will also not want to raise a stack at the beginning. TaymanND, trying to do a fancy thing to keep the chain alive, has to send it in little chunks, but still gets a 15-second stage anyway. TetrisAttakr, taking a little more time to get the second chunk down, will be out in 20 seconds. And now the run begins for real, as all the rest of these opponents will raise their stacks at the beginning, 1 to 2 lines. And these foes might go down to 4 lines of garbage, or maybe 5, depending on how quickly you're able to send it. TaymanND sent 4 lines, needed an extra on top of that. TetrisAttakr gets 4 lines and gets a 12-second time. So it's going to be little things like that, little differences, that will hopefully add up to people making a comeback throughout this 11-stage easy run. Because there's really no reasonable chance to come back otherwise. So we're leading with 4 combos to try and provide a distraction to these opponents. And then they will stack at least a 3 chain. These two might keep it to just 3 chains to maintain some form of aggression, and then as many combos as they can find on top of that, and that usually gets to the 4 or 5 lines that our players will need. Ooh, I don't think this one's going to work out super well for TaymanND. It took a minute to get those 4 lines. That's going to make a little garbage clear. It causes a 17, and TetrisAttakr gets a much more cooperative stage on his Erica. Makes up 6 seconds on a single attempt. So we are now about, by their timers, 2 seconds separated from each other as we reach the effective halfway point of this run. And you can kind of see how important it is to create distractions to these opponents, but you also want to try and send these attacks quickly, because these CPUs really do not have the speed to do much of anything. If these foes get off a garbage clear, it's most likely because you took a little too long to send your opening attack. Alright, I think TaymanND has 4 lines here. This has a chance to work if Sabrina will not flatten this, and that will be fine for a 13. And TetrisAttakr will get a 12 and make up a little more ground, but is still about 5 seconds behind as we head into the final stages. And really, if any opponent were to get a garbage clear on any of these players, like 5 seconds could prove to be the entire difference. Oh, TaymanND had garbage leveled off, and the stars did not align for the clear, and TetrisAttakr needed an extra attack for 5 lines. That will have to be a 16. These two are moving fairly quickly through this easy run. But it sure looks like TaymanND's race to lose at this moment. Oh, TaymanND had a different idea for his chain extension. And that's going to allow Tracy to make that little match and waste a couple of seconds. Oh, TetrisAttakr got 3 lines, and it was not enough in that instance. Sometimes these foes, when they run out of matches, will raise or stack another extra line. And a 3-line attack can beat those stages quickly, but it really does depend on the random generation of the stack to whether they will raise it or not. So it's not particularly reliable. Oh, TaymanND did not get the right attack down, and that's going to be a garbage clear. That might be the break TetrisAttakr needs to get back in this. Getting a 2-chain with a 6 combo off the garbage, and TetrisAttakr will take the lead with that. I think they're 1 second apart now, going into the final stage. That was the equalizer that TetrisAttakr needed. That garbage clear could prove to be all the difference. And you can tell TaymanND is not pleased about that garbage clear either. TetrisAttakr starting quick. Gets a lag 4-chain. That might prove to be it. But TetrisAttakr gets garbage clear by Giovanni, and TaymanND gets his garbage clear by Giovanni. And TetrisAttakr gets another garbage clear, and that will do it. Oh no. The garbage clearing doing all the damage at the end. That was so close. Those garbage clears at the end made all of the difference. That was crazy. The garbage clearing at the very end made that race extremely competitive. But it is TaymanND that clocks in first with an official time of 6:48. TetrisAttakr gets a 7:01. And it is our 5 seed taking home Pokeball number 1. Definitely a cool game for evening things out. Although players really don't want that RNG to have a big impact on their runs, so if we could just not do that again, CPUs, that would be great. In any case, the next race level will be the choice of TetrisAttakr. Normal, hard, and V hard are on the table, and TetrisAttakr, not being particularly decisive, decides to start rolling dice to determine what it's going to be. That's been like his new thing lately. Just his literal dice rolls. Literal go dice roll to decide which level he wants to play, and we are maximizing chaos, ladies and gentlemen. V-Hard is up next for Game 2. We have seen some players struggle to finish this level in under 20 minutes in tournament play. Will we see players continue to struggle here? We are about to find out. We are now ready to start Game 2 on the V-Hard level. And now the randomness gets turned up to 10. It won't get turned up to 11. That's next round. But we will see players really focus on getting their 2-4 combo strategies. Trying to send 4 chains, 5 chains, something in that size to try and catch these opponents off guard. I think TaymanND has gotten this Gary to work at 22 seconds. Meanwhile, TetrisAttakr Gary has a little bit more on their top line to deal with and will finish in 32 seconds. So, in a perfect world, we would go through all these stages in 20 seconds or less, and if you did that in an actual run, you would have an actual world record. Not that these are not actual runs, not that we haven't had actual world records set in tournament play, but if you were going for a world record, you would not send chains this short. Maybe TetrisAttakr chain onto that Brock, you would send that short if you had a lot more combos there, but that did enough for TetrisAttakr to take the lead on this Brock, and that's gonna be how our players hope these stages play out in the early game. Definitely not like how TaymanND is seeing his Brock play. But towards the end of this run, really this run's a tale of two halves. The second half of this 16 stage run will definitely encourage players to make bigger chains to try and time their attacks on these opponents more precisely. And so far, so good for our 11 seed. An 11 seed we've seen in our tournaments make several deep losers bracket runs, this one being no different. But TaymanND gets a nice misty 12 seconds. You definitely love to see that. It's like TetrisAttakr trying to set up a 5 chain, gonna go for a 6 chain. Definitely gonna be paid attention to what these opponents are doing. Try and catch them on the stack raise if possible. And that one works. And TaymanND was one line shorter, otherwise his attack would have worked. A bit unfortunate there. That's gonna get a punish. But it is still very early in this run. That's just the first quarter. And the opponents get faster and faster as these stages progress, so it can only get worse and worse. Tayman finally out of surge at 41 seconds. And Erica here will have time to flatten this stack, down stack, and gets to the garbage clear. Very unfortunate there, but I see Erica lining out some matches here that could give her some problems. Gonna get to that in time. Tayman gets a well-timed attack onto Erica and takes the lead right back at 16 seconds, and there we go. That's going to be a thing we might see more of as the stages progress. Resetting the stage. Going back to the game select, continuing, and you can restart the stage quicker in an attempt to get better luck in trapping these opponents within the combo arrangements that we try to make. Well timed on Tayman's Koga. That's 13 seconds and a fist pump. And okay, TetrisAttakr had some garbage to deal with. Was not going to be able to rebuild an attack that quickly, so a reset is coming there. And we have seen in V-Hard and S-Hard rounds, stage resets adding so much potential to the time, but on average, stages get a lot more consistent when you reset. So instead of potentially spending 3-4 minutes on one stage, you might give like 2-3 tries on a stage and spend like 2 minutes total. So TetrisAttakr is resetting on Koga, and Tayman is resetting on Sabrina. Sabrina is usually the first point where we see resets start to get considered. Oh, Tayman had a hard time finding the second 4 combo on the opening chain. That lost a little bit of time. And Sabrina airwalked over a matching set of panels to clear that garbage. And Sabrina's chains are allowing her to get to some more matches, but running out of time there. And Tayman has a chance to finish this first half in about 8 minutes. And finally, TetrisAttakr crushes Koga under an avalanche of garbage. A second tier of panels there that Koga was going to have a very hard time seeing, because the way they recognize panels and matches in this game is a bit strange. We may see more straightness with that in the coming stages. And a nicely timed, or fortunately timed by Tayman's reaction, attack onto Blaine. And at about 7:12, Tayman finishes the first half. Very nice opening from our PPL 2020 champion. Play S-Hard with the best of them. So if Tayman gets to the final, he could be a favorite to win that match. But we've got to get to that match in order to see that potentially unfold. And Tayman was one line short of trapping Tracy under combo garbage. These foes, when they recognize combo garbage on top of them, will try to address the lowest garbage block on their field and will only look underneath that lowest garbage block. So these opponents will frequently get into a situation where they think they have no matches left, but a human would be able to recognize the stuff that's happening on the other side. And matching the way of the garbage clear was Tracy able to get to that attack before he could be combo trapped. And TetrisAttakr shows it off on to Sabrina after so many attempts. So we are one stage separated as TetrisAttakr is about to pass the halfway point of this run. TetrisAttakr getting a 5 chain. Gets his combo garbage dealt with immediately, but Blaine's top line's looking a bit suspect. The matches against the garbage were going to be hard to get to, but some random matches will give Blaine the time to get there. And Tayman is trying again to get these combos down onto Tracy. This has a chance. If Tayman had an extra line, it could have been done. And a chain falls into a clear of the combo garbage, and Tayman is so not pleased about this development. I would try to repeat some of the words that Tayman is saying right now, but this is a rated PG stream. And both players running into resets throughout. These run times really do get shorter overall when you reset stages, because otherwise these stages can play out for a long time, and we're really just trying to avoid these stages playing out for a long time as much as we can. Blaine gets to that clear, prompting TetrisAttakr to reset again. And it looks like Tracy has no end in sight for dealing with Tayman's garbage. In fact, we might be getting to S-hard reset levels of aggression, where like if the first attack gets dealt with, you try to pull the trigger on giving up the stage right away. Okay, yeah. Blaine has way too many matches available for TetrisAttakr's garbage, prompting another reset. And that's just the nature of how these runs go. We kind of need the combos to trick these opponents into thinking they have no moves left. Without that, they are way too fast. And we have no direct influence on what kind of speed they can work with. Oh no, Blaine was really low on panels, but so is TetrisAttakr. Oh man, Blaine was not topped off, and TetrisAttakr was gonna have to reload. Alright. Tracy finally runs out of time down stacking. Tayman not pleased about his progress, but he does have our patent pending 2-stage lead, as TetrisAttakr has really had a time trying to deal with Blaine here. He's got a chance to get something in place here. Oh, Blaine had a chance to raise the stack. He's gonna get that extra row he needed to save himself. There's a garbage clear and a reset from Tayman. Hopefully, Team Rocket does not become the same menace that they were in V-Hard in my match with Idly Being Smart a couple weeks ago. We don't need that. We don't need to be trying to win races that way. Tayman trying to extend this chain to get the timing of the attack down more than the amount of garbage needed to fill out their stack. Could not quite get it done, and that's going to be another reset. Like, the fields that our players are playing with are 12 by 6. 12 panels tall by 6 panels wide. Making chains creates a garbage block that is X panels high, where X is the size of your chain. So if you make a 5 chain, like Tracy just did, TetrisAttakr is going to receive a 4 high garbage block that he'll have to deal with. So when you see players make gigantic chains close to 8, 9, x10 towards the end of this run, they're not trying to get garbage to top off the opponent. They're trying to, like, time the execution of the attack, because the attack doesn't send until you finish making the chain. So it becomes a timing thing towards the end of this run. We could see in the next round S-Hard really make that an emphasis, as we've already seen from yesterday's winners semis round. Tracy still has more than enough panels to match TetrisAttakr incoming garbage. This has a chance to be a problem for Tracy, but still not there. Giovanni still dealing with TaymanND's garbage like it's nothing. TetrisAttakr, raise your stacker. Otherwise you're going to get pinned under garbage like you try to do the Tracy, and Tracy runs out of time after 1:14. Thank goodness the time you get from making combos and chains from stopping the stack from going up goes down over time. Otherwise, we'd be here forever on these stages. And TaymanND gets a nice, much better placed combo attack onto Giovanni and gets the win in 17 seconds. Oh, has TetrisAttakr done enough to this rocket? This doesn't look timed all that great. So that will prompt a reset. TaymanND looking at how Richie is chaining, continuing the chain. Richie able to raise the stack multiple rows before TaymanND's attack could land. That's not going to make this end particularly well. Although, Richie looks like he might be downstacking this poorly. Swap it into a chain. Okay, that was a bit rude. But Richie was really running out of time doing whatever he thought was necessary there. These opponents are very slow to react to changing conditions. He does run out of time at 37 seconds. So now the lead for TaymanND has grown to 3 stages. And you just never know with V-Hard how quickly that can turn. Some very questionable downstacking from Lorelei, and she's going to run out of time. Some questionable downstacking from Team Rocket makes them run out of time. TetrisAttakr moving on from that stage in 14 seconds. Maintaining a 3-stage deficit with 3 stages to go. TaymanND has the opportunity to take control of this match by closing out Bruno, Gary, and Mewtwo right here. I think Bruno has too many panels here. So, Tayman had a hard time continuing that attack. And that's going to be enough for a garbage clear and a reset. Oh, Giovanni might have a problem here, though. And TetrisAttakr makes up a stage. It can happen just that fast. Tayman really extending this chain now in order to get the second 4 combo in place. This can work. And it barely does. That barely got through in time. Bruno would still be playing if he'd been able to downstack a little bit better. Oh, Richie, speaking of downstacking, might have some issues. There he is out of time, 26 seconds. TetrisAttakr feeling a little bit better now about how this run is progressing, but
Are you ready?
it could be too little too late with Tayman on to the final 2 stages. Now we cross the 20-minute mark. Both players might be wondering where the other is at, though. I get the indication that Tayman is watching the broadcast, as is TetrisAttakr, maybe. Or maybe TA is just paying attention to the lag his emulator is producing. So we can definitely see it. And Gary is able to make garbage shake a lot, but not in time. That garbage was already on screen when Gary was exhausting his stack health from being at the top of the screen, and it did not refresh due to a new garbage block appearing. That's always something to worry about with this game. But right now, Tayman has to worry about the final stage. V-Hard Mewtwo, not quite as free as S-Hard Mewtwo, not quite fast enough to get to absolutely everything. Although, that's a problem. And Tayman finishes with a time of 21:16 to take Game 2. And take absolute command of this best-of-5 match. Meanwhile, we will see if TetrisAttakr can take care of business here. Finish the last 3 stages in the roughly 5 minutes that TA has allotted to finish these opponents. We have a 5-minute mercy kill rule in this community where we let players try to play out their runs after their opponent has won the race. But if 5 minutes has passed and they have not won, we need to move on, keep things on schedule. Is this a good time to tack onto Bruno? Bruno has an opportunity to run out of everything here. Not by downstacking that way. Now it's going to be a reset. And of course, as Tayman is pointing out in the live chat, Pokemon Puzzle League wins again. Well, I swear, puzzlers, one day we'll have this figured out and we'll have much more consistent races. That would be quite something. As it stands now, it is TetrisAttakr trying to work out through some issues. Will not. No. No, I think that's enough. I think that's enough playing around. We've got some games to do. We'll record TetrisAttakr final time as a 26-16 and a DNF. So, with that in mind, Tayman has the 2-0 lead in this best of 5. TetrisAttakr is now fighting for his tournament life. He's got either normal or hard to pick for Game 3. Both levels, you can make the argument that Tayman has the edge in. I believe Tayman does have the faster personal best in all of the levels over TetrisAttakr, but TetrisAttakr definitely has some competitive times. So the case can be made to play either normal or hard next. But perhaps TetrisAttakr could leave it to a dice roll once again to see what the level will be. Will we see potentially another reverse sweep as tradition has shown in this matchup? Well, TetrisAttakr is taking the match to normal mode to find out. Game 3 is underway. And compared to easy mode, we will see one opponent that does not want to raise a stack at the beginning. But he's fairly fast enough in matching that it may take 8 or 9 lines of garbage to top him off. And that random match gave Tayman's Gary time to clear the garbage. TetrisAttakr has to deal with no such thing. And he will escape in 20 seconds while Tayman deals with multiple garbage clears. That 5 combo will also buy Gary a little bit of time, but not by much. This is absurd. That is an absurd normal stage. We pray that that's going to be the worst of it. Brock and the rest of the opponents will play a little bit nicer. Go down to 4 or 5 lines of garbage. As necessitated by the stack. We'll see how fast these players will be able to top off all these opponents. Journey not starting off well for Tayman, a 20 on that stage. Both of our players will definitely be looking for times 15 seconds or less. At least in this early bit anyway. And Misty getting a 4-chain onto TetrisAttakr. TA is kind of bewildered and beside himself at that. Both players having things to complain about in this match, and I can't say I blame them in one way or another. Like, the random number generator seems to have it against both of our players so far. Like, the easy runs were not to their standard, the V-hard runs were not to their standard. It's like the game has not been behaving to either player's standard. And Surge is going to get to TetrisAttakr garbage for a little bit, and a little bit more for Tayman, though. Tayman is so not pleased at this game right now. That is the understatement of the century. There's the many TAs watching their father right now do not need to have repeated what Tayman is saying right now. This game, puzzlers, it makes us swear.
Give up?
Even Erica is getting chains, getting garbage clears. 22 for TA, 14 for Tayman. And through all of that, our players are now separated by about 3 seconds. We've got 14 stages in this run. There's still a lot left to be decided. Oh yes. Oh yes. TetrisAttakr wife definitely making it clear that the mini TAs know what's going on. By the way, if you want to make this stress-filled journey more worthwhile for our players, by all means, throw some spare change, whatever you can, in our prize pool. Prize pool now at $111.11 out of our goal of $500. And if we get to that goal, then we can afford to make it worthwhile for more of our players. And Sabrina had the nerve to level off TetrisAttakr garbage, to waste all the time, and basically tilt the race back into Tayman's favor. That was effectively the halfway point of this 14-stage normal run. So there's still a lot left to go. And TetrisAttakr needs this to go a little bit better in order to save his tournament. But Tayman escapes Blaine in 15 seconds, whereas TetrisAttakr needed a little bit more to get this attack on the Blaine. Will settle for a 20. Tayman getting a nice little 4-chain combo-filled sequence there. It's a little slow, but it's definitely safe. Perhaps safe is what Tayman needs right now. TetrisAttakr ended up really short on that attack and is going to get punished by Tracy. That's going to be a 20. TA can't have too many more of those. And he knows it.
Congratulations, you've won.
Only a 3-chain from that attack. Tayman would have liked to have gotten more combos to make that work, but Team Rocket will match up against the garbage multiple times. And they are just ready to counter everything Tayman is sending. And TetrisAttakr will take the lead with that 12. Kind of crazy how quickly these races have turned on pivotal stages. We're making up like 10, 15, 20 seconds at a time on some of these stages. That's not always the case here with our community tournaments. I don't think Giovanni's going to get those reds aligned in time, so that will end in an 18. And it's a 17 for Tayman, making up a second right there, but Tayman is about 3 seconds behind as we head into our final 3 stages in the Puzzle Elite. Again, TetrisAttakr needing this win to stay alive in the tournament. The winner of this match will be on a collision course with the loser of the next match coming up. Which, as random as the game has been, could certainly go either way. When it comes to myself against Ty, it certainly has gone either way in the past. Tayman definitely not pleased with how that normal stage played out. 26 seconds is going to make it very difficult for a comeback unless TetrisAttakr really slips up here, which may not be a problem. That will be fine. 17 seconds will be fine. But Tayman not gonna get particularly clutch time as Lorelei finds a chain. That's a 20. TetrisAttakr is first into the final stage. A very, very interesting 8 combo, all with one panel for the 4 chain. And, oh, Bruno took down his one out to that attack, and TetrisAttakr will get their first win with a time of 9:50. And Tayman is right there with a 10:03. Both players not particularly happy with how that race turned out, but TetrisAttakr has to be relieved that he lives to fight another race, so we'll give TetrisAttakr his first Pokeball of the match and proceed to the hard level for Game 4. And players are almost ready to start this Game 4 as TetrisAttakr tries to survive this match with a hard run. Will force Tayman to try and choose to double up on one of these levels with a win here. So let's see if hard mode will be just as oppressive to our players as the other levels have been so far. Tayman executes a beautiful 4-line attack to get an 11-second stage, and that's going to be how more or less these stages will play out in their entirety. Hard mode is the most consistent out of all of them in terms of what you need to do in each stage, so this might be a comfort level that both of our players will feel a bit better about. Tayman going quick with the 3 chains. Basically needing all of that to top off these opponents fast, and Brock ruining his only out there. TetrisAttakr going to a 5 chain. Gonna get Brock to run out of time at 15 seconds. If these stages are going past 15 seconds, there are probably some shenanigans afoot. I expect these players to be able to be very consistent with their chains in order to get everyone topped off within 15 seconds. There's a 12 from Tayman. Gotta be feeling much better about how he's executing after those first 3 runs. TetrisAttakr right behind with a 12 of his own. These players are definitely going to be trying to rocket to the finish of this as fast as they can. Perhaps we could see a race on finish under 9 minutes. You never know. Could be under 9 minutes, could be over 10 minutes. We've definitely seen some wild results with hard mode in the past. And hard mode is especially not over until the Fat Gary 2 sings. So when Gary makes his reappearance, he's fast enough that he's been able to waste our time for multiple minutes sometimes. But it sure looks like Tayman has brought out a lead of about 8 seconds. Thanks to his quick attacks. Not going to be enough for this Erica, though. TetrisAttakr needing some extra stuff. Gonna get a 4-chain on this follow-up. And his Erica still has some space to play with. Tayman can only manage a 26 out of his Erica, though, so TetrisAttakr will make up a few more seconds. And this level is random enough that even the best players can have the occasional hard time finishing in under 10 minutes. So this one is far from over. Tayman specifically cutting off the 4-chain to get the garbage to fall. And it's not quite working out for Tayman. That's going to be a 20. TetrisAttakr will get to make up a few more seconds here. Now we are really getting close. About 3 seconds separates our 5 seed from our 11 seed. The seeding when these two players have clashed in our TetrisAttakr tournaments before have generally been able to be thrown out the window. These two have had some similar tendencies. That's a 16 from Tayman. TetrisAttakr is going to lose a little bit of ground here as Sabrina is able to get to his garbage. How much longer will Sabrina be able to survive? Play this game long enough, the answer may or may not shock you. Oh, Tayman definitely wanted an extra combo in there somewhere. Blaine's going to get some time to deal with his combo garbage, but the rest of it will be untouched. So this first half ends for Tayman a little over 5 minutes. A little bit disappointed by that pace, clearly. TetrisAttakr has a chance to make this Blaine work, and a 15 will do just fine. The timing of this attack got Tracy to waste a little more time. Still at 20, though. The lead for our PPL 2020 champion has expanded to about 25 seconds. So TetrisAttakr are going to have to send some stuff quick and hope that it lands in the best timing possible. These 24-second stages are not going to do it, and TetrisAttakr knows it. But as long as these opponents continue to get garbage clears on Tayman's attacks, TetrisAttakr will continue to have a chance. And Team Rocket actually ruined their opportunity to chain and stay alive in there as they lose in 34 seconds. TetrisAttakr has a chance to make up some time here, and that's a 13. That is a nice little chunk of time for TA to save. That's just the way these races have been going so far. They've been able to make up chunks of time in ways that we don't normally get to see from some of these levels. Although this one definitely fine for a 12. TetrisAttakr took a little bit to start that chain. Gets a X4. And will probably be done 16 seconds. So, not bad. Keeping the pace. Gary II still looms at the end of this run. He loves wasting time. So, it's not unreasonable for this race to go another 2 minutes. Though you wouldn't think it with the 16-second time that Tayman is getting. TetrisAttakr gets a 4 chain. That should be enough lines. That gap might prove to be enough of a distraction for Richie. As soon as he stops making matches. 27. The head shakes are palpable. And very understandable. Tayman is flying through this endgame, though. I think 12 after 13 after 12 after 13. He is closing out this hard run exactly as he needs to shut the door on this match. Oh, what a timely swap from TetrisAttakr to get that as a chain, and that was critical for that 11. TA needed all the swag. Oh wait, Bruno might be in trouble. Oh, he gets to that in time. And Tayman will be losing a little more ground. Getting garbage cleared. This is the break that TetrisAttakr needs. Although TetrisAttakr's send did not have the best of combos in it, so both players will be dealing with garbage clears for a bit. Tayman is out in 51 seconds. TetrisAttakr is out in 32. So both players will now be reaching the final stage. And we shall see if Gary 2 will be as much of a decider as he has been in our years of play. There's a little 4 chain and other stuff. Oh, Tayman, has he sent enough? Not in time! And Tayman escapes. That's the only word you could give to that. He escapes with a time of 10 minutes 20 seconds. And TetrisAttakr right behind with a 10:40. What a match. You kind of have to have a seatbelt to strap in for that roller coaster of a set of games. That was quite well played from both players. But for this tournament, let's make this result official. 3-1, Tayman wins and moves on to the losers quarterfinals. And I get the feeling that Tayman will want a front row seat to figure out who his next opponent is going to be. Before then, let's take a look at our bracket. We will soon see it update to see Tayman awaiting the loser of the next match we have going up. Let's take a look and remind ourselves just who that next opponent is going to be. We shall see here It will be the loser of myself and Ty. One of us might have to deal with S-Hard in our best of 5 match, but deal with it we shall. And one of us will have to deal with Tayman in the next round if we lose. Or we could deal with FFR Pro in winners finals if we win. I don't know who would be getting off better on that deal, but we shall see and find out. Like Ty's had my number before in a match like this, but when it gets harder, I've had the better of it on the harder levels, so there's a case to be made either way for how this one's going to go. And you know, last time the two of us were here in winners bracket in a tournament, Ty bested me. So who knows? Who really knows how this match is going to shake out? But we will see how it shakes out right after this. Stay tuned. You are watching League of Puzzle Speedrunners Pokemon Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament 2024.